You can't convince me that one of the lead devs isn't a warrior main. Hello everybody, I am Jmulls of Jmulls Gaming, and our march to level up all of the tanks in Final Fantasy XIV continues, and this journey of ours with warrior has reached its conclusion. It's level 100. What do I think about it? How do I feel about it? Let's get into it. I've never been as big into warrior mechanically as some other people. With Dawntrail, that has changed. I'm completely sold on it. I'm diving off the deep end. Give me my giant axe and my axe. This thing is brilliant. And by the way, if you ever want absolute total whiplash, level Dark Knight and then level Warrior. Going through all the dungeons on hard mode and then playing it on Warrior, it's insane how night and day the differences are. When you swap on over to Warrior, you shut off all but 5 brain cells because it's time to unga bunga. We are going full monkey. I don't want to even think about mechanics because I don't have to. I'm doing nothing but sundering the very earth, possibly the firmament, hitting cleave and some really good abilities. So, Warrior is one of the tanks of Final Fantasy XIV, and it's really dang good, but it's also just a well put together job. And this is the thing I've been really trying to hone in on with my tank series for Dawntrail so far, is that I prefer the gameplay. I prefer how does it feel than necessarily how good is it numbers wise. Warrior's also really good numbers wise, but mechanically, the way it's put together is so sound, comprehensive. It just feels full. It feels finished. From top to bottom, it has a good pace to it. It's fast when it needs to be. You have the tools in your kit to respond to various situations. It's flexible. Storm's Eye still exists for some reason. Cleave remains being awesome, and your defensive situation is insane. Warrior is all about healing itself with its GCDs. It has various abilities, such as its main bread and butter bloodwetting, that gives you mitigation, but also gives you the ability so all of your GCDs heal you. And in AoE situations like dungeons, it's an absolute comedy show. Like, it just is. And the cooldown is only 25 seconds. And it lasts a good amount of time. And when taken into consideration with your other defensives, you always feel as if you have something. And it can make trash packs that make your HP bar yo-yo, and you're fearing for your life on something like Dark Knight. It becomes far more comfortable on Warrior. Whether you're main tanking, whether you're off tanking, whether you're doing dungeons, whether you're in the open world, your AoE is insanely high, but your single target is right there. In a release, I love this thing. It gives you resistance to status effects like stun, sleep, bind, and heavy, prevents knockback, but it also allows you to spam cleave and then give you other abilities that you can use, like Primal Wrath or Primal Rend, which then turns into Primal Ruination. The abilities sound awesome, but the particle effects they give off when you use them makes you feel meaty and powerful, as if you're the lead action star of a 1980s action movie, like starring Arnold Schwarzenegger or whatever. It's great, it's awesome, and personally, I love Shake It Off, because I can think about my cooldowns, and I can think about, okay, what do I have up? Do I value my own self-mitigation? Or do I want to possibly use a few of this mitigation I have on myself, get rid of that for a bigger shield? To be fair though, it's not a world of difference anymore. Like for each buff like Thriller Battle, Damnation, and Bloodwetting, you're only gonna gain an additional 2% for the shield you're applying to your whole party, but I like that interplay at least. For really big oh crap moments, you can pop Thrill of Battle to give yourself even more max HP, but also make it so you end up healing more. Pair that with Bloodwetting and your own healers, and you just don't die. But you also have really good defensive options like Damnation, which just gives you flat mitigation, but you also retaliate at enemies that attack you. And granted, it's not much at all, but knowing that's going on, I just kind of like that. It's simple, but it's clean. Not in a Kingdom Hearts way. I think it's kind of stupid that Nascent Flash and Bloodwetting are 2 separate buttons for some reason, but okay, whatever. Holmgang is Holmgang, it's really nice. And I think the name of the game when it comes to Warrior is that it's genius in simplicity. You can pick this thing up and be most of the way there with a rudimentary glance at what your abilities are, but it just works. It's a really easy job, don't get me wrong, but it nails the important elements. It feels good to play. And in an era that's kind of mired by this perception of tank homogenization, sure, there's a lot of the elements that the other tanks have picked up from Warrior, but Warrior still has this really good identity of self-healing that it's just super fun to play. I wouldn't want to play any other tank in dungeons, because why would I? When Warrior exists and is this fun in every trash pack. I actively want to wall-to-wall pull simply just to hear the sound effect go off of bloodwetting healing myself with all the enemies. The animations look absolutely incredible, but with the changes they made to Inner Release, not only giving you Primal Rend, and I haven't really played Warrior since Shadowbringer, so a couple of these changes were introduced in Endwalker, just bear that in mind. Not only do you get Primal Rend, you get Primal Ruination and Primal Wrath. So it adds a bit of extra speed and a few extra buttons to press within Inner Release, which rounds out the one issue I always had with Warrior, that being that it was kind of slow to me. It was very GCD locked. I tend to prefer jobs that are pretty fast-paced, it's why I gravitate to Gunbreaker so much. But with the Dawntrail iteration of Warrior, it has just enough pace to keep me interested, to keep me engaged, but it also provides a good array of interesting defensive options that I find fun and enjoyable. I can mix and match and try and min-max in each situation and say, okay, what is the type of danger in this scenario and how can I best react to that? Am I going to sustain a bunch of sustained damage over time? Maybe I want to do some more self-healing in that way. So maybe I should pair up Thrill of Battle with Bloodwetting. Am I taking one giant big tank buster? Okay, Damnation and Rampart. And if that's not enough, then I can maybe tack on Equilibrium on top of that. You have so many options you can mix and match with, on top of your roll actions by being a tank like Rampart and Arm's Length. And it just feels good. With all the tanks trying to become Warrior, I feel as if Warrior stands on its own with its rock-solid identity that has basically no fluff. Besides Bloodwetting and Nascent Flash being separate GCDs, and Storm's Eye somehow still staying in the game, it's not the worst thing ever, but I don't know, I just don't have any real strong feelings to Storm's Eye. It doesn't feel good to keep up, in my opinion. It's kind of dull and boring, but the rest of the job is so visually awesome and moan-inducing that I don't mind. It's really fun offensively, so I don't mind off-tanking when I am main-tanking. By the way, word to the wise, tanking first thing in the morning is maybe not the best thing ever. When you're still groggy and trying to do mechanics, goal. But you have fun mitigation to work around. I think Warrior is in an amazing state right now, just fundamentally in terms of its design. It knows what it is, what it's supposed to be, leans into that, and embraces that identity. It's a simple job that has a bunch of self-sustain, big flashy animations, and absolutely brings the boom. It's more meaty than a paleo diet. It's insanely good. And look, I'm a sucker. It doesn't matter how many years it's been, the animation, the red eyes you get with Inner Release, and the giant roar you do will never not be awesome. Your character quite literally has aura, as if he's expending hockey, and the enemy should shudder and quake in its boots, but daring to have the unmitigated audacity to think that it could be a threat to you, the Warrior. Yeah, I'm so glad I leveled this thing. I will be playing a lot of Warrior in Dawntrail. Next up, though, is Paladin. I've heard a lot of great things about it. Let's see what it's all about, shall we? One tank remains. So leave a comment down below with your favorite tank in Dawntrail, and what change you would like to see in the future when it comes to Warrior, or what your favorite element of Warrior is right now. I'd love to hear your thoughts, hear your opinion, hear your perspective. For me, honestly, I don't even want it to change that much. I think Warrior is like dang near perfect the way it is. Like, am I gonna get upset if they add another OG CD to like the Inner Release window? No. Because again, I like having that fast-paced gameplay. Then outside of that, I don't even mind Storm's Eye, so if they want to keep that, I'm fine with that. Just like combined Bloodwetting and Nascent Flash, I still don't get why these have to be separate buttons. But outside of that, I love Warrior, dude. What a job. What a delight to play. Thank you all for tuning in. Stay safe. Have a great day. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out and helps support future content, and I greatly appreciate it. And I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye, everybody. Until we meet again!